Welcome.
Stop it.
Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Steeped Talk with me, Horace, and my co-host Sarah.
Yeah, I feel like I should be actually having steep tea when I'm recording this.
I was
never
gonna talk to you about that. I feel like
It'd be cool if we had tea at the beginning and we talked about what we were drinking and everything and have a different tea every time.
Every time. Well, we
So
only have 5 teas, but
well, it's called going out and getting tea. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah, no, I was gonna suggest that, and every time we have a guest in the show, at least physically,
they should bring their favorite tea.
Bring their favorite tea.
And if they don't like tea, then I'll be like, fuck you.
Oh, or that. Or that.
Yeah, that's the other option. Fuck you.
Anyways, welcome back to another episode of Steeped Talk. I always do that. It's a pun that I made and it still confuses me.
Oh, fuck.
We're here on a Tuesday morning.
A very foggy Tuesday morning.
Tuesday morning.
It's like Silent Hill out there, honestly.
It
kind of is.
Fucking remind me of that game.
Yeah, now you're gonna go to school and you're gonna be fucking scared the whole way.
I'm gonna be afraid to get on the bus now.
Can you imagine walking through that alley and just seeing some Pyramid Head
Stop
from
it.
Silent Hill? Just
Pyramid Head doesn't scare me.
Okay, well then one of the monsters that the ones from the caves in Silent Hill Downpour. The big white monsters that jump down and fucking attack you out of nowhere. Don't even make a white joke right now. Are you kidding me?
It's a metaphor for the fat white aristocrats on the top of the government.
Okay, so you're still making a white joke. I get it. Okay, let's move on. Fuck. Today we're going to talk about some, more obscure video games.
Yeah.
You may have heard of these, but you also may not have. It's just games that we've played and that we like. Or maybe don't like, but it just depends.
Games that, we played and we enjoyed to a certain extent, but, a lot of our friends or whoever never played them. So, to us, they're obscure. Maybe to other people, they aren't really.
Yeah.
Sarah, you seemed like you had a good one, so why don't you go ahead and start off?
I really like Frolf.
Yeah.
Frog Golf. Well, I guess it's not called that. It's called Ribbit King. It's for the GameCube. I didn't know it existed. Most of my friends didn't know it existed either, but we all really like playing it.
Yeah.
So there is a main story game too, which is pretty easy and it's not too bad. There's a little bit of cutscenes and it's really cute. But basically you're playing golf, but with frogs. So, you hit your frog and they traverse across the land, but your goal isn't necessarily to get to the finish right at the start, right?
Yeah.
Your goal is to get as many points as you can, which is kind of the opposite of golf, but the characters are really fun, the courses are really fun. Good job.
Fuck.
That's why you don't have your phone out when you're recording, man.
Sorry, continue.
So the courses are all really fun, the characters are really wacky and imaginative, and it's just all around a really fun time. I've always had fun playing Frolf with people, and a lot of times my friends will request that we play it, so if you have a GameCube laying around, just look for it on eBay, because it's pretty cheap. I think it's $15 to $20.
I honestly didn't even know about the game until I watched Game Grumps play it.
Yeah.
Game
That's
Grumps
how
play
I
a lot
figured
of
it out, too.
obscure games on there.
And then it was on my Christmas list after that, because it looked like so much fun just watching someone else play it. I'm sure we'll play it on the show eventually, once we get the right cordage.
Oh, yeah. Cordage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can attest to that it's very fun to play. A good game that I really enjoyed was...
Oh, man, you can't even think of it?
No, I had one before...
I have a long list, man.
I had one before we started. I guess a lot of people have heard of it, but they've never actually played it, but Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it, but apparently a lot of people have.
Yeah, a lot of people, in my experience, a lot of people have heard of it, but they've never actually watched or played it. The game is fucking gorgeous for a PS2 game. It's really, what?
Why are you staring at the laptop?
Just looking at the levels.
Alright. You don't need to watch the levels the whole time. I'm sure it'll be alright.
Anyways, it's a gorgeous game for PS2, and they did a remastered version for PS3. But, essentially, I don't want to spoil the story too much, but basically, you have like a wife or a girlfriend or some shit, and she died, and you bring her to this temple, and this like weird god thing tells you that like, if you go and kill these like, I think it was 12 giants, or Colossus, hint hint, you can bring her back to life. So, the amazing thing about this game is that it's such a big world, such a small game. Even though it's sandbox, it still feels extremely free roam, and like, it's beautiful because every place you go is a completely new terrain. Like there's deserts, waterfalls, caves, underground, fucking even like in the sky. Like
for its time, like it was pretty advanced for PS2
Oh, yeah.
and like looked really good for a PS2 game.
oh yeah, not to mention.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts would still blow it out of the water
of
graphics
course,
wise,
but that came out way later.
And like that was a time when like smaller companies and third party games didn't really get as much attention. So
Yeah.
the fact that it's still like a cult classic is
Oh fuck yeah, and like
impressive.
there's so many memes about it now, and like
Yeah.
the gameplay is fucking awesome. Like you climb up these giants, you have like a pink stamina bar, and you have to hold on as long as you can and get to a stable like area on the giant, but it knows you're there, so you don't get much time. So you start off the game with pretty shitty stamina, but like as you go through the game, you get better. I'm not going to ruin anything, but killing the giants increases your stamina. I won't tell you why. There's reasons for that later that I don't want to spoil for anybody.
Yeah,
but
that's basically what the game is.
Yeah, but we should
You
definitely
shouldn't spoil anymore.
Yeah, but great game, and definitely check it out. And if not, at least like watch someone play it because it's a good time.
Let's talk about one game I know we both hate and I know is going to be on the channel eventually. And
No.
Glover.
No. Oh God.
I want you to talk about your experience with Glover. Because, well, did you finish it?
I'm in the last
Very
world.
close. Very close to the end. But it's proving, like, really infuriating. Like, it got easier for a little while. And then the last level was like, no, fuck you.
Maybe for a little while.
Like, some of the levels were not too bad. Some of the middle worlds, we ripped right through them. But the last levels, like, fuck. And the
Yeah.
first levels, too.
I don't know.
Glover's for N64, for anyone who doesn't know about Glover. Released around N64, trying to be a Mario-style kind of game. And, you know, you're a fucking glove.
Fucking dumb.
You have to be attached to this ball the whole time.
You don't. That's the
Well,
issue.
you
If
do,
you were
but you
attached
don't.
to it,
You
it'd be
can't
easier.
let the ball get hurt or destroyed or maimed, whatever, because then Glover just goes, "Eh!" and then you lose a life.
But Glover can't get hurt either because he has a health bar.
Yeah. So there's a lot of confusing mechanics that go on with the game, and it's very easy to forget some of the moves that you have. So you'll be going through a level, and you'll have to use a move that you haven't used since, like, the beginning of the game, and you're like, fuck, I forgot I could even do that.
Well, for a specific example, there was at one point in the level where you had to get to an area that was too high, and you couldn't throw your ball up there, you couldn't double jump there by yourself.
Yeah.
And what the fuck am I supposed to do? Turns out, after looking up a walkthrough, that you're supposed to get on top of the ball and ground pound, and then, like, it makes you go higher.
And we
Where
totally forgot
there-
that
no,
was
no,
a move.
No, that's the second time. The first time,
Oh.
there was nowhere in the game where they told you that. No possible indication, not even, like, through, like, subtle means, like Mega Man and other shit where they kind of teach you.
Yeah.
There was no teaching at all whatsoever of how to do that. So it's, like, I spent, like, almost, like, 4 days not knowing what to do.
You
and I
probably
was
just
like, fuck
ignored
this.
Mr. Tip, but the thing is, too,
No,
and
because
then...
he disappears after a certain point in the game. He doesn't come back.
Fuck Mr. Tip. Like,
Yeah.
he should be there the whole time. Like, what's the point of helping me in the first level and then fucking off?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, if you want to hate life, be very angry, probably break your N64.
You get really angry, yeah. I don't know. I
Get
just
extremely
watched
frustrated. One time, almost feel like you want to cry.
I just watched it and I got really angry.
Um,
And the few times I played it, I did not last long.
Yeah.
Before I'm like, here, have the controller back.
If
This
you
is
want to feel
horrible.
bad generally, then play this game.
if you just want to have a bad time.
If you just want to have a bad time. If you want to play good games and have fun, don't ever play this game.
Yeah.
Sarah decided to buy this game and make me play through
Because
it.
I knew it was bad. I had rented it as a kid, and I knew it was just stupid. So I was like, let's make someone else
let's
suffer.
Let's make Horace suffer.
Yeah,
And
because that is
he's been
entertainment.
suffering
That
ever
is prime
since.
entertainment. Literally, it projects, like, here's the expected time you should have completed this level in, and here's your actual time. So a lot of the levels are, like, around 8 or 9 minutes, and our completed time was probably around 45 minutes for one level. It was ridiculous.
I think it's for most of the levels.
Yeah, some of them we did pretty quickly.
Some of them we did even longer.
We had the help of our friend Max for some of them, so...
Even he didn't know what to do for some of them.
Yeah, it's true, but he did have a better idea than you at some points. Here's another really random good game. You've played a little bit of it because I told you you should.
Okay.
For Wii U, Lego City Undercover. I don't know. A lot of people are like, oh, it's a kid's game. I'm not going to get that, but I don't know. It's you play as a cop, but it kind of feels like GTA.
Yeah.
Like a more tame GTA, because you can explore the whole city. You can take anyone's vehicle. You can go off jumps. Like, it's very open world, but at the same time, you still have missions to complete. But you can kind of do that at your own pace and, like, decide to ignore it if you really want. But
Yeah, it's a fun game. I tried it myself. I don't know if it's extremely obscure though, because like
I know it's a new game, but I still, like, if I say that to people, a lot of people haven't heard of the game. So
well, people our age, but people like my brother's age probably already play it.
Yeah, but I just thought I'd bring it up and say, hey, it's not a game just for kids or like young adults, whatever. Like,
yeah, that's
full on adults can enjoy the game as well.
That's fair.
But Lego makes pretty good games. It depends.
Okay. So a pretty obscure game for me, or I guess series. A lot of people didn't even know this game existed when I talked to them. Was a Dragon Ball Z Goku's Legacy.
Oh man.
And I know everyone out there is like, oh good, another Dragon Ball Z game. But like, the reason I appreciate this game so much was that it wasn't like just another fighting game.
Mm-hmm.
It was for Game Boy Advance, and I was extremely impressed because it was
I forgot about handheld games. That's a thing we can talk about too, and I will.
It was like an adventure, like RPG mash beat 'em up kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And the game was like, at least the first one was like Dark Souls level hard. Like, if you didn't like level up and get ready to fight enemies that are new in an area, you get your fucking ass kicked. And, like, the game was surprisingly in-depth, like, where they even talked about lore that's not in the actual shows, but, like, in the comics and stuff. Very, very interesting, and, like, I don't know, if you... I mean, you can probably get an emulator pretty easily nowadays, but there's 3 games. Each one got better, but, like, they had, like, really interesting ideas, and, like, the gameplay, like, it's almost hard for me to describe, like... It was like almost like a third of the view, top-down view kind of thing, but not really. Mm-hmm. But imagine like, I don't know, like a Pokemon kind of view, but instead of like running into grass, you like punch people and shoot blasts at them. But like, fuck, maybe we should just do a playthrough of sometime.
I feel like a lot of these games will end up being played at some point.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna figure out.
Kind of nice to talk about them and like our experiences with them.
I want you to play it though, because like I feel like you'd actually. Even though it's Dragon Ball Z, I feel like you'd actually enjoy it, because the gameplay is, like, pretty solid.
It's over 9,000!
The first one's kind of annoying and hard, but the next 2 games, like, are a little bit more fair. Yeah. Another great game that I think we mentioned on one of our Let's Plays was, Madagascar for
Oh, yeah.
For GameCube or PS2 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's actually really good. Like, it holds up. I would totally play that on the show, because it's good.
Yeah, I remember, like, I was genuinely surprised when you're playing, like, the story mode, like, there's, like, shit to unlock, and you actually, like...
The story mode is good. It's really expansive, and, like, it plays really smooth, and it's entertaining the whole way through.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer games, I actually played with my brother all the time. Like, I enjoyed playing the mini golf and the shuffleboard. Like, all of it's fun.
Yeah, I really like the mini golf one for some reason.
I don't blame you.
Surprisingly a really good game, but that's definitely one you guys gotta check out.
It's very underrated, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we wouldn't normally recommend any movie game because a lot of them are pretty bad, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Another one, it's bad and good, but Amazing Island is worth it for anyone to, like, try at least once.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something super unique on GameCube, then go for it, because basically you create a monster and you're on this island and you're trying to help them, save monsters that have turned bad. You're trying to turn them good again, and the only way you can do that is by competing in these, like, games. I don't know how to explain it. They're very hard, though. They're very hard. Like, the learning curve is pretty sharp with that game.
Pretty much as soon as you start the game,
the first 2 mini games aren't bad, but after that it gets really hard.
Yeah.
But it's a fun challenge. Like, you have to be in the mood for it, but
yeah,
it's pretty cool that you can keep going, creating new monsters, and they can, like, specialize in different things to make the games easier for you.
It's almost like Olympics, but for monsters.
Yeah, and you unlock different, like, pieces to add to monsters that, like, make them better at certain things.
Combine Spore with the Olympics.
Yeah, that's basically that's basically what it is. It's kind of cool. It's a unique concept for sure.
Spore's not an obscure game, but we definitely need to play that.
I've never played it, but I think it would be fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, I've literally never played it.
I had it on my dad's PC, but I can buy it on Steam again for Mac.
Oh,
but,
for sure.
It's really fucking good. We'll have to play that. Spore is not...
Well, we're not going to get into talking about Spore right now.
Okay, fine.
It's not obscure.
But it's definitely underrated.
Yeah. What about Pokemon Puzzle League?
Yeah, definitely.
Nintendo
like,
64.
I didn't even know that was a real game until you told me about it.
There's a Yoshi game on N64 as well that's very similar.
Yeah.
Made by the same company, but I like Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's like it's not your run-of-the-mill, like, what do you call
puzzle
it?
Game?
Like 4-in-a-row puzzle game kind of thing. It's like, it's a different mechanic where you can actually switch any of the tiles, but like...
You switch one tile with another.
Yeah. But you don't have to, like, only do it if there's a matchup there. You can move them across the entire board if you wanted to.
Yeah, it's basically manipulating them to try and get the best combo that you can.
Right, because what it does is it drops, like, a block on top of the other person's, like, screen.
Yeah, don't even play against me because you don't stand a chance.
Yeah, she's kind of a monster when it comes to that game.
I play on, like, 3 levels higher than you, and you still get annihilated. I'm not trying to, like, make fun of you. I'm just saying I've spent a lot of time playing it. That's why I'm really good at it. Yeah. There are people out there who can beat me at it. I'm going to talk about Game Boy Color for a second and talk about Shantae.
Sure.
It's not as obscure as it used to be, but I still know a lot of people haven't heard of Shantae. And I feel like when it comes out on Wii U, it's going to be a lot more popular. Shantae first started on Game Boy Color, and my dad got it for me for Christmas, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, never heard of this. So I put it in and started playing it, and it's so good. So good. If we can ever get a capture equipment for 3DS, we're definitely going to play it, because, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, there's a lot of bright colors, especially for Game Boy Color. Like, it was colored so well. The music is excellent, like, even on Game Boy Color. And the visuals, and, like, having a female protagonist and antagonist, like, back then that pretty much never happened. Yeah. And they didn't even do it intentionally. That's the thing. They just created these characters, and they were like, hey, this works really well together. But it was something really cool when I was young to, like, be able to play a game where the female was the main character and the bad guy. Like, that was something I'd never had before. Yeah. And basically she's a genie, so you go through side-scrolling levels and go through different dungeons trying to collect things to beat a pirate. And you can do dances that allow you to transform into different animals. It's really cool. So then the different animals all have different abilities, and they help you get through the dungeons. It's really fun. And as you go on, like, not all the games allow you to transform because of the story. I don't want to spoil anything. Because of the story, there's certain games in the series where you can't transform. Right. Right now, there's 3 games. There's one that was on Game Boy Color. There was one that was on Nintendo DSiWare, of all things. And then there was one on the 3DS. But you can buy them all on 3DS on the eShop. And I have them all. But they're all really good. And definitely worth playing. Yeah. If you want something handheld and you want, like, a new side-scroller adventure kind of thing. Side-scroller.
Yeah, definitely. Like I still have to play it. So
You'll love it. I know you will.
another great game, underrated, pretty obscure is it was released for DS, like the original DS called Spectrobes. You ever heard of it?
No.
It was this really interesting game where you play as this group of people that are trying to fight some black tornadoes or some shit.
Wow.
Inside the tornado,
That's so
like,
weird.
it's like that's just how they appear on the map. Inside tornadoes are like monsters, but
Oh, okay.
basically, it was like you get to revive like fossils you find
Mm-hmm.
that are like they're basically like fucking like fantasy ass dinosaurs, and
Yeah.
like you got to like train them and like you find items that you can change their colors with, make them even stronger, and then like it was really cool because like it hadn't been done before.
Yeah.
And I remember like as soon as that game came out, then they made like a bunch of games that like were copying off of it. Where
Yeah.
you like where you like
Well,
you
when
dig
you
up
find
fossils
something
and
that
stuff.
unique, right? Like,
Yeah.
then people are always gonna try and copy it.
Yeah, no, it was really cool, and they made a second one too. But like, the combat was okay, but it was cool to see like the combinations because like how it worked was like when you can have like two monsters and like two backup ones if they die, and your actual little dude has like a sword, a gun, and like a fist that he can use to fight. But like the whole point is really to use your monsters.
Yeah.
It's more like self defense. But the cool thing is the monsters once they like charge up or some shit, they can do like a combo thing. And the interesting thing was every single monster had a different attack and a different combo, and when you put them together, it was a completely new like combination attack. And like I don't know, the game was really fucking cool because it was really surreal. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like all the places you go were like these weird like cool like dreams. Not that's not what is actually in the game. That's what it
Yeah.
made me feel like. And like the shit you find, and like I remember cheating on it with one of those what's it called? Not Game Shark, but one of those kind of things.
Yeah, like one of the discs or
Yeah,
whatever that
and I
you
got like,
put
this really
in.
fucking awesome looking like overpowered monster, and I like beat my friend a bunch of times.
Nice.
But that was definitely a really good game. Again, it's Spectrobes. That's Spectrobs. The only reason I say it is I know it's a weird name.
Spectrob.
Yeah, there's that in the second game, but they're both very good.
This one isn't necessarily obscure, but I know a lot of people like to knock on it, and that's the 2006 Prince of Persia. It was sort of intended to be a reboot. It's different from all the other Prince of Persias. It's not set in a castle setting. It's like an open world, like an entire city that you navigate through that's gone into ruin because everyone's left. It's cell shaded, like it's beautiful visually. The game is very beautiful, and the music is good. The story is really good, really well thought out. I think a lot of people like it because it's just, don't like it because it's just not the same as the other Prince of Persias.
But like at the same time, that was the whole point.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be a
exactly.
reboot.
It derived so well, and I was really disappointed that it never got a sequel. There was some DLC, but there's never a sequel.
Yeah.
Basically, in that game, you unlock power plates, and the girl that you travel with is able to use them to get you further through the area to get to the ground, to heal it, to try and stop this bad guy from getting out. Like, really bad guy. Basically the devil in their world.
Yeah.
So you navigate through using that, and the best part about it is you can choose which order you unlock the power plates in. So you can choose what order you play the game in, which actually changes the way that it plays every single time. Because based on which plates and which worlds you go to first, different obstacles will appear. So if you've played it enough times, you can figure out the easiest path to get through the game, but it's all different.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a new experience every time, and I don't know, I was obsessed with that game. Like, I unlocked pretty much every achievement in it because of it, and I don't know, it's good. You can choose to make the characters talk to each other more, too, to, like, find out more about the story if you want.
Yeah.
Which is something hard to find, too. Like, you know, you just press a button and they'll talk to each other more, so you can be like, oh, hey, I want to hear about this area, and they'll start talking to each other. Like, that's something I haven't really found in another game, because you can keep pushing them to talk more and more and more, or you can just not have them talk at all.
Well, games like Dragon Age have that, but unfortunately a lot of people haven't played
Well, and I'm sure it's good, but
Yeah.
it's different too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying like the talking
Yeah.
feature.
And the free running, I mean, that's where Assassin's Creed originated, was from Prince of Persia. Like, the free running is really good in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Very intuitive, very easy to pick up and remember. Like, you'll still die. It's still difficult at some parts, and you're not sure what you need to do.
Yeah. The good thing about it, though, also, I should mention you have a badass claw glove. But,
it's a gauntlet, but yes. That's what it's called.
Okay. But, it's a reboot, but it still holds its roots in the original Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Like, when you run the walls and do stuff, like...
You feel
it's
Prince
still,
of Persia.
Oh, yeah. It still feels like that. The only difference is that if you fuck up, you can't, like, reverse time and save yourself.
Yeah, well, Elika saves you.
Yeah.
But
that's the equivalent, but... I don't know, it's really interesting, and, like, if you're looking for an interesting, like, playthrough, like, for a game that's kind of different from a lot of games right now...
And the combat is really good. Like, in other Prince of Persias, the combat was not that good.
No, I liked them.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that the combat is, like, on another level in this game, because you can actually create combos, and there's, like, a huge amount of combos you can do. It just feels like you're actually fighting versus, like, I don't know. I like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, but in that game you're literally just, like, slashing, and yeah, you have some power-ups. Like, I don't know. I don't think the combat feels as good as it does in the 2006 Prince of Persia. Like,
well, what they did is, like, in some of the newer Prince of Persias, not the reboot, they brought combos in, but, like, it's different, because when you're mowing down, like, enemies, like, it doesn't feel that hard.
yeah.
But, like, what they did is they switched it, in the reboot, where you duel, like, one-on-one with enemies, and it makes which kind of gives the developers more ground to make enemies harder.
Well, it gives it more weight to the fight. Like, it feels like you're, actually having a challenge versus, like, in Sands of Time, you're fighting, like, 20 skeleton men at once, and they're just, like, you're slicing through them like butter. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Some people might feel good about that, but to me, it's just kind of like, I wish I could be doing more than just slashing and, like, kicking.
Yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, I think they should have... First of all, they should keep the Prince of Persia line going, like the original one also.
I think they've already decided that they're not.
Yeah,
because Assassin's Creed is making more money. They shut down Prince of Persia development,
like,
which sucks.
The most recent game, I think, was, like, Dual Destinies or some shit, but, like...
Sands of Time was the most recent one. And
that was one of the first ones. Or is that a reboot of the original one?
Sorry, Forgotten Sands is the word I'm looking for. That one came out at the same year as the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they were pretty solid, like, and I feel like if they kept working on it, they could have made it better.
There is still a very big fan base for Prince of Persia.
Oh, I'm sure. I think, in my honest opinion, if they continued a sequel for this reboot as well, they could have a pretty awesome, like parallel, universe kind of thing going, and then they could, like, make a game where, like, it crosses over, and that'd be so, like, the two princes...
that wouldn't happen.
No, but, like, imagine, like, first of all, how cool that would be and how much money they would make off that. I don't know. I feel like it's
It's hard now because the video game industry is focusing on, okay, well, people like this, so they obviously want to see more of this, instead of, like, what can we explore that's new and different?
That's what I appreciate.
It's kind of sad. Like, the whole point of video games is to do something new and different.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really apparent in Nintendo 64, but I feel like after GameCube era, it started to kind of go down to, okay, well, Xbox is out now, and everyone wants Halo, so let's just make more of that in different ways. Like,
that's why I appreciate, like, Steam, because it has all these, like, indie developers, and, like, even...
They're starting to be supported more now on console, too. It just took time.
Yeah, I was even gonna say, like, even, like, now, like, there's a lot of games coming out this year that are, like, it's new developers no one's heard of. Mm-hmm. Like, Beyond the Horizon or something like that. Have you seen that?
No.
It's this insane-looking new game where, like, it's completely free roam, and you're surviving, and you have to hunt animals, but all the animals, every single living thing in that world is a robot.
Wow.
And it's, like, really interesting, and it's, like, some new developer no one's heard of before, like, that's why, like, 2016's been a fucking bad year for everybody.
It has been a horrible year for video games. Like, what has really come out?
But 2017's gonna be great, because they have so many new developers that are finally getting their getting their games into consoles and getting some appreciation.
Getting their feet into consoles.
they're finally some indie developers who are going big.
Yeah.
And I know there's going to be some great new games coming out in 2017, and I'm super excited.
Especially Ukulele, the return of Rare, just in a different company.
Yeah.
But all the same big players from original N64 Rare days.
Yeah, exactly.
Golden age of Rare. We got off topic, but...
That's okay.
These are a little more obscure. Most people I know haven't heard of them, but the Alice games.
Yeah, I only knew, briefly. I only knew about them because of
the
Game Pro
original was
magazine.
called American McGee's Alice, and it was only on PC, and it is like 20 years old now. I want to say. I'm not absolutely certain.
It was on PS1.
No, the original American McGee's Alice was only on PC. It's a very good game. The graphics are shit, but it's still worth playing. The concept of it is good. It's like, I know people like wear Alice down, like, because so many people are obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of like worn down and grinded to the point where it's like, okay, does anyone care about this anymore? But American McGee's Alice is like completely different from the other ones. Yeah. It's extremely morbid, extremely like, it's a mind fuck. Like, it's a very mental game. Like, you have to think about it from like a very thought-heavy psychological standpoint where you're saying, okay, this is all symbolism. It means something. All of it means something, even though it seems utterly ludicrous. Like, it does mean something. And Alice Madness Returns is so good. So good. I don't know. They took the good parts of the first game and they made them better.
That's how sequels should be.
Yeah. Well, see, and that's not always the case, but with this it was. And this game was actually more widely released because was it Ubisoft or EB Games? I want to see EB Games. It was EB Games. They decided it was going to get a wider release, so it came out on PS3, Xbox 360. I don't think it wasn't on Wii. It was on PC as well, though. But the game is really good. Like, the mechanics are good, the learning curve is good, the worlds are super immersive, and the combat feels good in that game, too, because you unlock weapons and you upgrade them. And, oh my god, I just love using the hobby horse so much. Like, it has so much weight to it.
What's the hobby horse?
Have you never heard of a hobby horse?
No.
So it's like one of those horse heads with a stick on the end that kids play, and they, like, pretend that they have a horse.
Yeah.
So she has a hobby horse, and that gets upgraded through time, but hers is a lot different from a kid's hobby horse.
How so?
It's made of stone instead of made of, like, fluffy stuffed animal and a stick. Basically, you completely crush enemies. She swings it around a couple times, and then she swings it over her head, and it makes a neighing noise, and you can feel the weight of it when it slams down. Like, the ground cracks.
That's one thing that, like...
It feels good to use it.
That's definitely one thing that games have a hard time... Or developers have a hard time of, like...
It's, like, conveying the feel of weapons as you're playing.
Conveying weight or the lack of it, right? Like, I don't usually like shooters... I don't like that new game, Rainbow Six Vegas 2 or whatever, but...
Wow, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. What an original name.
Whatever it's called, I will appreciate the fact that they did a really good job with the weight. I was watching my friend play it, and the point of that game is different from other shooters, is that it's all about basically cops and robbers. It's like one person has to breach a house, and one person has to defend the inside. And they made the game completely, like, destructible, so you have to be able to show weight.
Yeah.
So, like, when you, like, go up to a wall and, like, fucking, like, beat it with a hammer, yeah, it's not gonna go down instantly, but you can feel the weight of the wall. Cause, like, but, like, when you put a charge up against it, you can feel it crumble, and, like, they did a good job with that. And same thing with, like, going more off the line of games like Alice. Bayonetta, Dante's Inferno. Well, yeah, Dante's Inferno and, like, Devil May Cry and those kind of games.
Bayonetta is good, but it's really fucking hard.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Oh my god, it's hard. I played on easy and I had a hard time.
Devil May Cry is decently hard, too. I haven't played the new reboot one, the DMC, but that one looks really good. I want to play that.
I really did enjoy Bayonetta when I had it, though. Yeah. But that's not an obscure game, because it was rated 10 out of 10, everyone played it.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, mechanic-wise, like, those kind of games that have, like, combo fighting.
Yeah.
they always have some sort of like heavy weapon that like you fucking enjoy.
See, and Alice is not combo fighting, but she has like very varied weapons.
Yeah,
like she has a teapot cannon, which is like more long range. Mm-hmm. She has a pepper grinder, which can be close or long range. Mm-hmm. It's basically an automatic weapon. She's got her Vorpal blade, which is you can like hear the sharpness and like feel you're slicing through people with like cool, no effort.
Like, sound is very important.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. The Vorpal blade, like the sound is on point for that. And then of course the hobby horse, which is my favorite.
I mean, of course.
See, and then those items are not only used in combat; they're also used to help you get through the levels in the game. Mm-hmm. Like without the items, you cannot progress.
That's how it should be. And
yeah.
Some people will argue that too many games use that mechanic nowadays, like Legend of Zelda and whatnot. But I think,
I think taking a piece from Legend of Zelda and doing that is a really smart idea, because it's like having multiple uses for your weapons makes sense.
Instead of
like,
just as a weapon.
Why wouldn't you use it to get further?
A good example, a lot of people like harped on this game, but like it's pretty obscure too, not a lot of people played it, but Darksiders and Darksiders 2. Mm-hmm. More specifically the second one, but the story of these games is it plays as the four horsemen of death, right? Mm-hmm. The first one you play as War, and he was like framed or whatever. The second one you play as Death, which is fucking badass, first of all, but you're trying to like save War or whatever. Mm-hmm. But especially the second one, it plays like Devil May Cry, with like heavily combo related combat. You get upgrades, and they're really interesting. Like they're unique. Yeah. But then it's kind of like Legend of Zelda, where you get items that yes, they can help your combat, but they fucking like help you with everything. Like everything in the game, you need that stuff for. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's an underappreciated mechanic, but obviously there's some people who make it way too obvious, and there's right ways to teach someone how to use an item. But yeah. I think it's definitely a mechanic that shouldn't be bashed upon because
overlooked, right?
Right, like
underrated.
I feel like it's a good mechanic. Some people will say it's a cheap way of adding like like something else happening in the game, but at the same time, that's literally something else happening in the game. So how is that cheap?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know, it's all relative. A lot of people want to bash on games for the stupidest shit because like, oh, it's not exactly how I want it. It's like, no game's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, everyone's gonna have their opinion.
People put their heart and soul into games. Hopefully, when they're making them, they're putting a piece of themselves into it, and like I appreciate that, and that's part of. Video games are art.
Yeah, that's why like even like some games like Call of Duty, I don't respect, but every now and then, one of these Call of Duties or something, they make it, and you can tell like. I'm someone who's played majority of the Call of Duties, not to the point as like my friends have, but I've played like enough of them to know what they feel like. Yeah. And every now and then, they make a good Call of Duty. You can feel the weight of everything. Like, it looks good, it feels good, and you're like, why don't? I'm fine with them making multiple Call of Duties, but it's like, why don't you put the same amount of effort that you did into this game in every single one? Like, for example, a really good one that everyone well, sorry, not everyone. Most people who played shooters adored was Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, I was a Halo person.
Which is
really
fine.
Enjoyed.
But same thing with Halo, right? You in Modern Warfare 2, they did such a good job, and then like the next game they made was such shit, and it's like you put so much good work into this. Like, why couldn't you continue that?
You passed me that.
What?
My 3DS case.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I feel like game developers nowadays, like, they feel like when they release one really good game, that they can release like 5 shitty ones
of
right after.
Of the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like, I'm okay with the same thing coming out, just put work into it.
Yeah.
That's why with Borderlands, like, I love Borderlands 1.
I love my 3DS
and then Borderlands 2 was just as good, if not better. Like, they didn't get lazy with it.
That's not obscure, but...
Okay, I know, but I'm just trying to make a point.
I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. There's my terrible sarcasm again.
Yeah.
I know I'm not good at conveying it. Why is my 3DS doing this?
What's going on?
It's on, but it's not on.
Oh, it's just taking a while to boot up, probably. Why are you opening your DS? Are you looking for games?
Yeah.
Fantasy Life.
I know. I just wasn't sure if we had already talked about that or not.
I don't think so.
Alright. Well, Fantasy Life is definitely both of one of our favorite games.
Yeah. extremely obscure. Like almost no one knows about it, but it's so fucking good.
I feel like it's getting more popular. It's a really good game, though. Like, you can start by talking about it, and I'll add what I want to say.
Yeah, no, I really...
I have a lot to say about it.
I really appreciate it, because, like, my one critique against it is that there's a lot of dialogue, which slows the game down a lot.
Oh my god. The problem...
And you can't
It's not
skip the
even that
scenes.
it's a lot of dialogue. The problem is that the dialogue's very repetitive and very simple.
It's very
It's
old
like
school
shit
Legend
you
of
don't
Zelda.
have to say, yeah.
But, like, I will say, like, I enjoy the game immensely. It's, like, a combination of, like... I always say this. Sarah doesn't always agree with me, but for me, it feels like a combination of, like, Animal Crossing, one of the...
I just don't agree there's any Animal Crossing element to it.
I mean, like, the character design. Not really the gameplay, but for me, it's, like, one of those Final Fantasy games they put on DS where it's, like, a...
If anything, I'd liken it more to Rune Factory.
Yeah, Rune Factory and Final Fantasy combined, because, like... Combined.
And a little bit of Harvest Moon in there.
Yeah, because, like, there's so many, like, first of all, there's so many classes, like, and it's not just combat-based.
It's not just, like, the basic, oh, here, this is what you're gonna hit someone with, kind of
Yeah, it's
classes.
like, oh, this is what you're gonna hit a metal with. No, I'm just kidding. Because, like, you can, like, be, like, a metalsmith. You can
be a metalsmith?
What?
You mean a blacksmith?
Blacksmith, sorry. You can be,
you
like...
don't make jewelry in the game. Well, you do,
You
but
do.
it's like weaponized jewelry, so...
You could be, like, a woodworker or, like, other shit, like...
You can be a cook, or you can be a mercenary.
Yeah.
It's just cool that you can switch between...
Yeah, and you can switch,
those
right?
kind of lives. Yeah, you
That's
can switch
why
whenever you want.
That's why I liken it to, like, some of the more recent handheld Final Fantasy games, because in all of them, they don't confine you to one class.
Mm-hmm.
You can, like, take things you like from everything and, like, switch whenever you want. Which is really fucking cool. Like, that's...
There's this huge play value in the game, because even though I beat the main story a long time ago, I still play it, and I'd still play it.
Yeah.
And there's just so much to do, because there's so many classes, and there's so many missions for each one. Like, you never run out of things to do in that game. I have, like, 250 hours clocked in that game. It's probably the game I've played the most in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I've only had it for, like, a year and a half. Can you stop? Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's fucking great. And I feel like...
It's really great to play with other people, too. Like, you can go through the story and play for yourself, or you can meet up with people and you can help each other play through your quests. You don't even have to be in the same place. That's another great thing about it. Like, you can go into someone else's world, and you can go to one city, and they can go to another. Yeah. If you both need to get something different done, you don't have to fucking leave.
Yeah, which is something a lot of games don't do.
Especially for 3DS, I feel like it's very advanced for a handheld game that you can have that capability.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, even like when you're making recipes and stuff, you need to collect the ingredients for them. So, by creating that need to go into the world, it's saying, hey, you should go and level up one of the fighting classes.
While I go do this. And...
So that you can go out and get those materials without dying.
Yeah.
So they all, like, each life can help another life out, and that's why it's cool. So it's like, oh, my friend's currently good at wood cutting, so he can cut me some wood because I'm a carpenter and I need it to make these things.
And I will say, playing with another person makes the game hella easier in more than one way.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, if you're going through the dungeons and stuff, or the trials at the end of the game.
But, like, even, like, with, like, Sarah was just saying, like making shit, right? Because, like, if you've chosen a few lives and, like, you're working on them and you don't have time for something else, so, like, it makes it easier when someone else is working on the other ones.
And they have an item that you need, right? To complete a quest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. The game promotes playing by yourself, but also
working together.
People. Yeah.
And either way, you would have a good experience playing it. Yeah. Like, you don't have to ever play with another person to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you could also spend more of your time playing with someone else than by yourself and still enjoy the game just as much.
Exactly.
So really, it's a win-win. And the music...
The music is spot on.
The music in the game is amazing.
Is on.
Amazing. Now I want to go and play it just so I can listen to the music.
I was just going to say, I'm probably going to charge my DS.
We're probably going to go and play it for a little bit before you go to school.
Or something, yeah. Because, like,
we have a little bit of time, so we'll probably play it a little bit.
I'm pretty behind. Like, what happened was, like, when we first started, like, talking, we started playing
We
Fantasy
bonded
Life.
over Fantasy Life.
We really
honestly.
did.
That's how good the
That's
game
how
is.
Sarah discovered that I'm fucking insane and I get
Yeah.
ridiculously angry.
Honestly, we really could record a podcast or not record a podcast, like something. We could record something while we played that, and
just
it would be...
just like a static shot of our noses while we play Fantasy Life. No, but what happened was like I was very low leveled and I went into her world.
And I was very high level.
I was getting
already.
killed by everything.
I was probably like level 70 by the time we were playing together, and
but
you were probably level 10.
You boosted me so fucking much.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Now, like, I'm playing my own world, and, like, I kill even bosses
You're still trying
in one
to get
hit.
through the story.
I'm trying to get through the story because it's so slow, but, like, even, like, the bosses I kill in, like, one hit now. And
because
like,
you got
I have,
way
like,
higher level.
I have
before
end
you
level, like,
progressed.
end game stuff now.
Yeah.
Like,
See, that's the only problem. If you go off and do too much on your own, it makes the story a little too easy.
yeah.
But the cool thing about it, too, is, like, the story's kind of flexible. So how I played it was, I started with a good chunk of story, and then I just went off and did missions and a couple classes.
Mhm.
And then it's like, oh, hey, well, maybe I'll continue the story now. So you can kind of do it at your own pace whenever you want. You like, oh, hey, I feel like I'm ready to go to the next area now and do some of the story.
Yeah.
You can do it whenever you want. You're not pressured, or you don't accidentally trigger a cutscene. Like, it's all intentional.
Yeah, and if you're like me, especially with games like Final Fantasy and, like, The Witcher, I try and take, like, all the, like, submissions in one area and just finish all of them before I move to the next one, and the game doesn't bash you for doing that.
No,
like,
it
it's
doesn't.
Like, it's
You
like,
can do
what
that
you
if
want,
you want.
fam. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
Hey, if this stuff's accessible to you at this point, then go for it. That's basically what the game is like.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Like, there's very few instances where somewhere is closed off to you.
Yeah. And that's only if you haven't completed the story, really.
Yeah, and usually...
And each area of the world is very different, right? Like, there's Port Puerto, there's Almagique, Terra Nimbus, Origin Island. They're all so different.
Yeah, like,
and then there's Castleton, which is, like, the main area you start in.
It's so interesting. Like, me and Sarah even made, like, a really stupid, weird fanfic out of it. Like...
That was more like
I
you,
did.
and I just listened.
And laughed. But, like, I don't know. It's a very, like, interesting game. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, we've taken up a lot of time.
Have we?
I think we've actually gone over. We're at 47 minutes.
Oh, that's fine.
Usually we go for 45, but... thanks
I
for...
didn't even realize we had talked that long,
Yeah.
so...
Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Hope you enjoyed hearing about some of our favorite obscure
games. And
these
and
aren't our only our
and
favorite
a few
games.
unobscure games that we talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we hope you enjoyed us. Steep Talk has its own Twitter now. It's literally just Steep Talk, so you can find us there.
And look for us on Steeped Play on Twitch and on YouTube.
Yeah, on Twitch we're twitch.tv/steepedplay. And on our Twitter we'll always tweet out when we're about to stream.
There's gonna be some. There was a really good stream last night. We had a couple instances of a surprise guest on there. And that will be uploaded to YouTube and Twitch shortly. So.
Yeah, it's been uploaded to Twitch. It's the way I'm not going to explain how we upload our videos on this, but it'll be on YouTube eventually. But
we'll get there.
And if you want to find our podcasts on YouTube, which is the only way you can find them, it's it's just Steeped Talk. It's going to be literally the first channel that pops up, and our Let's Play channel is Steeped Play. Yeah. Again, first thing is going to pop up. I made sure. Yeah. Pretty cool. Eventually, once we get a few more episodes, I'm going to use the RSS link and try and publish our podcast on iTunes so we can get a little more publicity. Yeah. But let people know about our podcast, and that'd be great. And anything else? I guess you can find me and Sarah at our Twitter handles.
Yeah, I'm Miss Sarah Hara on everything.
Yeah, and
so it's MISSSARAH ARAH.
Yeah.
It's kind of complicated.
Just a tad bit. And I'm Hysteria or Hysteria Zero on literally fucking everything. Yeah. HYSTERIO.
So it's pretty easy to find us.
Especially me. If you're
wow, good for you, buddy.
No, seriously, if you're playing some obscure MMO
and you see a character named HY, if you look at the list and you see a character named Hysteria Zero, 99% of the time it's me, because no one has a username for some reason.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's not really that, like,
Yeah.
sought after.
Yeah, it's weird. It's only one letter difference, too, than the
Yeah.
word hysteria, but whatever. Anyways, thanks for listening, guys.
Hope you have a good day.
Have a good day or night or whatever
Whenever
the fuck
you're listening, yeah.
doing. And we'll see you in the next episode. See you never.